Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies. We're sisters who discuss all things related to work, family, and personal growth.
We draw inspiration from everywhere, especially from you, our listeners, to keep moving forward with joy and laughter and the big adventure that is life.
1 week at a time.
I'm Azizi Williams. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a mom of two, soon to be an empty nester, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world. I'm here with my sister, Malika Amandi.
That's me. I'm a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a newish mom, and I work in higher ed. In this episode, we share a couple tips for connection and discuss books that have impacted our lives.
But first, Malika, I have a recommendation that I'm just dying to share.
What is it?
Let's talk about it. Maybe this is like my sport. I don't know. I really feel excited about this recommendation. It's travel snacks.
Okay.
Protein-rich travel snacks, because I have a job where I don't always know if I'm going to get lunch or when I'm going to get lunch. I can usually find lunch, but sometimes it's during a meeting or much later than I expected. And then also I have a long commute where I can get really hungry in the car. So I'm always looking for a healthy-ish kind of snack that I can have that's easy to eat on the go. That's the thing. You like no heat, just eat and go. So I found a couple of new things. I've talked about Go Macro bars. And by the way, I try to not eat a lot of dairy, and a lot of things have milk in them. So that's why it's a little harder for me to find something. And when I do, I'm really excited about it. So I tend to look for vegan snacks, and they don't always taste good. So taste is important to me. So the Go Macro bars are a staple. That's easy, and they're fairly easy to find. But I found these things called Walking Tamale. That's what it's called. That's the brand name. And it's a tamale. So it's got like corn masa on the outside, like a tamale does, not the corn husk. And then the filling is like beans with different kinds of salsa. And some are spicy and some are not spicy. They have like a green salsa and a red salsa, but it comes in like a foil pack. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a pouch that is shelf stable. You don't have to heat it. You can if you want to, but you can just open it up and eat it. And the ingredients look healthy-ish. Like when I look at the ingredients, it's not a lot of chemicals or things that I don't know what they are. And it tastes really good. So I recommend that. I think they have like 5 different flavors.
Very nice. Good find.
And you can get them on Amazon. So that's the first one.
Okay.
And then the second one is Justine's Nut Butter, which you may have seen. They're very popular. They have a wide variety of nut butters in jars, in stores. But they also sell these individually packaged like travel pouches that are small and just like single serving. And also, I think, like a little pouch. And the hazelnut one and the vanilla almond butter ones are so good. I just open them up, squirt them into my mouth. It's a little bit of protein. It's like, it feels like a treat. And it's so good. That's my other one that I recommend. I've talked about Epic Chicken Sriracha bars before, and I would throw that in there also as like a delicious, savory on-the-go snack. But the walking tamales and the travel size Justine's nut butter, so good.
Well, thank you. Very good for the holiday travel coming up.
Absolutely. Throw a couple in your bag, and then you don't have to worry about getting delayed on the plane or long drive.
Speaking of holiday travel, I am in your house right now.
You are? You're talking to me from inside the house.
I'm inside the house.
There's been a breach.
Yes.
I know. I'm hosting Malika and her family. It's been so fun.
It has been fun. By the time this airs, I'll be back already in Massachusetts.
It'll be over.
We're gearing up for our Thanksgiving beach fun. So it's been fun to be here.
Yeah. I had all kinds of like hostess neurosis.
Oh, no.
I did. Like, is this going to work? How's it going to work? I've never had this many people stay over. My house is like regular small. It's like 3 bedrooms and a common living dining room kitchen. And my daughter Ilea's back also. Everyone's here. So it was a little like, how is this going to work? But it's working and it feels really nice. It's cozy.
It's fun and cozy.
Fun and cozy.
So the other thing I want to add in is that we finally have some merch.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Very small sampling. We're just kind of getting our feet wet, seeing what people are interested in. but there is a link in the description. You can buy a few different products, and we hope that you do and let us know what you think and what you want more of. We're really new to this. We're very much DIYing it, but hopefully there's something in there that you like. The shipping is pretty fast. So enjoy.
Yeah, we're making it ourselves or designing it, I should say.
Yes.
Our only bar is would we wear this? Would we wear
True.
this?
Yeah, that's it.
If not, then let's not put it out there. So we're excited to take that step.
Now it's time for Speaking of Work, where we discuss observations about our professional lives. So, inspired by a professional development training I attended around connection, I want to share two icebreakers that really impressed me in terms of helping a group of strangers or a group of colleagues who maybe don't know each other very well feel more comfortable with one another very quickly.
The first one is pick a photo on your phone to share and talk about it.
All right. So this I thought was just brilliant in its simplicity. We all have so many pictures on our phone, and it feels accessible to most people. Most people have a smartphone. Most people have photos on their smartphone. It's not like sometimes you get an icebreaker where you're just like, I have no idea. I've never thought of that. And it feels
Right.
like some people can participate and others can't.
Yes.
I think that this is one where most people over a certain age with a smartphone can participate.
Mhm.
And you've talked about this with your love of flowers, how many pictures of flowers and food you have on your phone. And those are things that are really important to you. And so I think that you can really get a snapshot of what somebody cares about. And often people share a picture of a family member or of a pet. And it's just nice to hear people talking about something that they like. That puts everybody in a good mood when you see somebody's face light up. And so I think it's a really fun way to kind of help people feel connected is just by giving them a chance to talk about something that is important to them or meaningful to them that they have on their phone.
I've done this one before, Malika, a few times in different settings. And it's nice because it gives people permission to use their phone.
Yeah,
Even though
true.
people like to
That's
use their
also
phones.
true.
And it's like, there's a comfort in getting to use your phone.
Yeah.
And then you're scrolling through some photos and that brings you happiness, trying to decide which one to share. And then, like you said, right away, it's easy to describe. You have something to talk about. And I love seeing people's photos. Show me all of your photos of your babies, your dogs. I love all of that. That makes me happy. So this is a great icebreaker.
And I think this is a good one too. You could do in like a small group or just break into pairs and do this.
A mix and mingle. Do you do mix
Yes.
and mingles? I love that. Just pair up with a stranger.
Yes.
Show them a picture on your phone. I love that. Number 2 is talk about your name and what it means to you or your family.
All right. So this is also very accessible. We all have a name, and that's like
It's true.
that's the baseline for entry. Do you have a name? Okay, tell us something about it.
Mm.
So it could be about what does it mean to you personally, or what do you know about what it meant to your family if you have information about how you got this name. I like this because it gets people talking about identity, a
Mhm.
big part of their identity. And though we don't usually choose our name, it can really shape our perception of ourselves. And for a lot of people, it's not something that comes up a lot. I think for me it is, and for you, because our names tend to be a little bit more unique or different in this culture. People are always asking me about my name. But I think for a lot of people, they don't necessarily get that question. And so it's kind of provocative to think about.
And it gets everyone talking about their parents and their
Hmm.
families or important family members or things that were important to your family at that time. And I can imagine maybe there's a scenario where it could be difficult, but I've not met that scenario. And I've done this a number of times as well. And I love it. I love hearing people's stories about their families, or maybe there is no story.
Right.
Like it's just my name. That's also interesting. If there was no story around it or it was never discussed and you just have it, I think that's interesting.
Yeah. So that's it. Short and sweet, two icebreakers. If you are somebody who leads meetings a lot or you like to have conversation starters in your back pocket, then please add these to your repertoire. And I'm always collecting others. So if you have some that you think are really great, please send us a note at happierladies@gmail.com and let us know. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll share some reading recommendations. Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
Well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready-to-go online cart.
Oh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Okay, we're back with Take a Breath, where we share something that's feeding our soul. Malika, I have been on a reading streak, and I'm so excited. This was on my 24 for 24 list. I've exceeded the number of books that I was supposed to read.
Yay!
Libby just unlocked something now. And so it's so easy and fun to get some books in. And I was thinking back on books that have had a profound impact on my life. And, those books that you remember or you refer to or you reread. And I was curious what books would be on your list. So I thought we could both share some of those books with our listeners. So let's each share 5 books that have impacted our life over the years.
Okay.
And by the way, this is just today. Like if you ask me
Yes.
tomorrow, the list might be different, which is what's hard about it because there's so many books, of course, but these are the books I'm thinking about today.
All right, let's start with your list, Azizi. Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters.
This book. I feel so privileged, by the way, to have been raised in a house that had books. I remember mommy and daddy subscribing me to a book of the month club, maybe when I was like 4. So every month I would get a book in the mail, a picture book. And they were like scholastic books, or I don't know, they were simple books, but they delighted me. So I did grow up with books. I know that not everyone did, so I feel privileged for that. But I remember receiving a book as a gift from a family friend when I was 9. And this book, Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, was so beautifully illustrated. It's a picture book. It won like a Caldecott Award and a Newbery Award. I think it just won all these awards for illustrations. And it was the first picture book that I'd ever seen that featured Black girls. Like every character was Black. It was like an African fairy tale. And it was just so beautiful. And I treasured that book. And I still have it. Actually, it's in my office now. So just the power of representation and seeing images of yourself reflected. And then just the power of a really beautifully illustrated children's picture book. I'm like Gretchen. I have an affinity for children's literature and for picture books in particular. So this one stays with me.
I remember that book in our house too.
Yeah. And by the way, I read it a few years ago because I hadn't read it in a long time. And I read it to some students. The subject matter doesn't hold up exactly.
Okay.
A little patriarchal. But that said, I still recommend it.
A Natural History of the Senses, A Natural History of Love.
So this is me sliding in 2 titles, actually, by Diane Ackerman, but they're very
Okay.
similar. So A Natural History of the Senses is the first book that drew me in. I read this book as a senior in high school and it changed my life. It's
Mm.
like a sociological, anthropological, like it's just a scientific, historical study of the senses. Actually, Gretchen would love this book. Maybe she's read it because it takes every sense and it goes back in history and shares just snippets of that sense through the eyes of the Egyptians, through the Greek. And then it also talks about just the science behind it. So you're understanding the senses from in all of these layers and from all of these lenses. And it really opened me up, I think, to awe and to be more
Mm.
in tune with my senses from a young age. So that's a book that I kind of reread because it's poetic in how it's written, but also historical and educational and inspiring. And then she wrote a book about love in the same way, using those same lenses to look at love in history, in science, sociological, all these different perspectives. It's really cool.
Interesting. How to Love.
Oh, this book. So, How to Love by Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a monk. He's passed away now. And there are these little pocket sized books that have a saying on each page,
Hmm.
just like a manual about how to love, like just different things to remember or to know or to consider when thinking about love. And it's so relatable and very inspiring. That's probably the one book I've given away the most because I think it's very grounding and something that can be quite complicated and painful.
I love Thich Nhat Hanh.
Yeah, so I went on and bought, how to sit, how to eat, how to listen. I think I have most of the series now because I love the advice.
Search Inside Yourself.
This book by Chad Ming Tan is a book that I read maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. And it infuses mindfulness and work in a way
Mm.
that was very inspiring for me at the time. The author was one of the original employees of Google and ended up going on his own mindfulness journey and created a program that he then shared for Google employees around mindfulness and how to be more reflective, how to be more aware and calm while difficult circumstances related to work. And there are illustrations, he brings in science. He has all these different meditations that are for work. And one that was really profound to me was a meditation on email and
Ooh.
sort of a step by step guide on how to email well and
Mm.
what not to do. And I thought, oh, it's such a nice pairing of something that we think of outside of work. We feel like we have to put work away to be mindful or to be
Yeah.
reflective or to be grounded. Those things feel opposite of work, but he shows how you can blend them together. It was a fun read, actually. So that book was profound for me.
That reminds me of in one of his books, Thich Nhat Hanh has a meditation on the telephone of like
Ah,
when you hear the telephone ring, before you
yeah.
answer it,
Yeah.
what you can say to yourself or how to not just react to that sound. That sounds kind of aligned, but I'll have to check that book out.
I love that. I need one for getting a voice message. I don't know about you,
Mm.
Malika, but having to listen to my messages at work is the worst thing. Like it's worse than email. I don't know why. It's just that blinking light on my phone at my office. It's like, oh, what is that going to be? So I could use a meditation for that. Yeah.
Yes. And then finally on your list, we have Outer Order, Inner Calm.
Of course. This book by Gretchen Rubin. I don't think it was the first Gretchen Rubin book I read, but it made an impact on me. I really connected with the power I have to create an environment that feels good.
Mm.
And I love Gretchen's style of writing. It's easy to understand, it's very relatable, it feels very practical. And I don't know, it was inspiring. And this was the book, of course, where we went and we met Gretchen Rubin
Yes.
and got our book signed and we heard her speak and, like really solidified the two of us in our love of Happier. And
Yeah.
even if none of that had happened, just the book itself was something that I enjoyed and impacted me.
I've noticed being here in your house that you have a lot of trays in the kitchen, which is one of the tips in Outer Order Intercom, which is like organizing chaos by putting things on a tray.
Yeah.
And I realized in your kitchen, there was a lot in there, but they're all on trays and it feels just kind of fun.
Ah, Grayson didn't do this, right? He has a tray, and then I realized he needed 2 trays. I have a tray, and then I have a John Darien tray in my bedroom, which is also, I know, an artist that Gretchen appreciates and that I learned from her. So, yes, lots of lots of inspiration there.
It's fun.
All right, Malika, let's do your books. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The first book is Essentialism.
Okay. The full title is Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McKeown. And I don't even remember how I came to this book, but it really lit a fire in me and then was one that I encouraged a lot of my coaching clients to read.
Hmm.
Actually, now I remember, I came to it through like a financial wellness class for artists that I took a long time ago. But it's basically about, not unlike Search Inside Yourself, about mindfulness and work, but it's kind of just mindfulness in everything that you're doing in terms of thinking about the choices you're making in your life. Are you really doing what's essential for you? And how so often we act in a way that is counter to what we actually believe about what's important. And the author was like working in Silicon Valley in this really high pressure job. And he had an instant where his wife was having a child and it was like timed with this really important meeting he had to do,
Hmm.
her having birth. And he was so conflicted about it because they were trying to make a big sale or something. He was with his wife when she gave birth, but like an hour later, he left to go take this meeting.
Wow.
And in the meeting, the client found that out and was like, "What are you doing here? Like, this doesn't make me want to work with you." And it was this huge aha moment. It was like his priorities were all jumbled, even though he knew what was most essential was his new family, but everything was just so out of whack because of the pressure of his job. And so that caused him to take this huge step back.
Hmm.
But it really asked some great questions about how are you using your time and empowering you to think about things, even in your job. Like, are you doing the things that are really the most important to you or that you feel like you're making the highest contribution? And even if you're not like the CEO, kind of what are the little things you can do to do more of what is essential and less of what isn't?
Yeah.
He talks about, we've heard this analogy of the closet, like when you're cleaning out your closet, if you look at an item and can you say for every item, like if I saw this in the store today, I would buy it.
Hmm.
Like, how much would you spend on this now? And if it's like, oh, I wouldn't buy this if I saw it right now in the store,
Mhm.
like, well, then you don't really need that piece of clothing, And so he kind of shifted that to time, like doing an inventory of your activities. Like, if you weren't already on this board, what would you do to get on it? And if the
Hmm.
answer is like, I would not do anything to get on it, I would say I'm not available. Then
Yes.
that's like a really big indicator. Like, well, then maybe you need to be not available. How can you
Wow.
get out of it?
Yes.
It's a short book, but it's so potent.
I love that. It's like a minimalism
Yes.
for your life.
Yes.
Okay. The next book is Burnout.
So this book by Emily and Amelia Nagoski, who are twins, was so profound for me. It's pretty new. It came out a few years ago. It came out, I feel like, right in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Burnout is a word that has come into the consciousness. It's used quite a bit, but it really breaks down what that term means, like psychologically, physiologically, what that means, and some ways that you can begin to repair that if you're in a burnout situation. And for me, it was the first time it really put certain themes around like patriarchy, fat phobia culture, like how those elements of the world we live in can really create more burnout for individuals. And
Mhm.
for me in particular, it put all of these things together that I feel like I had inklings about, but I didn't have the language for.
Hmm.
And so it was an extremely validating book of like, okay, I'm not crazy, or these things really do cause stress. And I think we were all just learning about that as a society. A lot of those things, because we were all at home, the way that it's written is also very compelling. And I think I started with the audiobook and then I bought the book also. Like I wanted both because I wanted to
Uh-huh.
hear both. I think I told you, like, you have to read this book.
And I did. And by the way, side note, I do that a lot. I want to buy the books, like the actual books of the books that
Yeah.
I read audiobooks of. But anyway, this book for me, by the way, I know this is your segment, but I'm going to
Okay.
share a
Take it
little bit.
away.
It inspired me to exercise
Mm,
because it created a new case for exercise, or maybe it wasn't a new case, but the way she described completing the stress cycle, I think
yeah.
is what it was called. That, oh, you have to exercise so that you can complete the cycle of when you have stressful experiences or when you have work, then your body requires some kind of release or exertion, or else,
Yes.
these other negative things can happen. And that made so much sense to me. So when I exercise, I think about how, oh, this is just a part of completing the circuit that is required for a healthy life. For some reason, her description and stories and the way she talked about it made sense for why I need to make this just an everyday thing that I do. So
Yeah.
that was a side note. But otherwise, the storytelling, her personal experiences and her sisters were illuminating.
Yes. Very relatable.
The next book is Why We Gather.
All right. So this is a book by Priya Parker that I learned about from you that is all about really looking at why we have meetings, why we have celebrations, and how to make those events more meaningful and more intentional, which is, again, something I feel like I'm always striving to do, but I didn't necessarily have the language to express why that was important or the different nuances of how to think about that. I'm reminded of one section where she talks about group facilitation and how there's like a huge difference between facilitating a group of 5 people and a group of 7 people.
Mm.
Each number is different. Like as you start to add people, how that dynamics change and really understanding why that is. And then really, when you can, being intentional about, well, what size are the small groups in this conference or in this meeting? And thinking about things like some of the common celebrations or rituals that we have, like a baby shower, that comes with a lot of different activities or traditions that may or may not be important to you.
Hmm.
And really kind of thinking through, well, what is the purpose of this event or this rite? What is it that you need in order to feel ready for bringing a baby into the world? What are the actual pieces that are important to you? So it's just like design thinking about gatherings, but it was really inspiring to me. And I think it's something that whenever I'm putting a group together or leading a group, that there's just a lot of different things that I think about now because of that book.
I love this book also. And I think I need to read it again because I read it during the pandemic and we weren't gathering,
Right.
but it had an impact on me. It basically taught me that you can be the boss of your gathering.
Yes.
Like even a party, it's not just for meetings. Like even your party, you can be the boss, and how kind that is for the people who attend and how much they appreciate it. And her descriptions of those white parties they have in Italy, I can't remember the name for them. It's like spontaneous, it's like a flash party. Do you remember that? Everyone dresses in white and they just
Mhm.
show up. I want to do that.
How do we do that?
How do we do that? I was a part of a group that was planning a dinner, and I suggested, what if everyone wore white? And people were like, that's ridiculous. Like, what? That's the most impractical
Oh,
thing ever. And so we didn't, but one day.
I'll go to your white party.
Okay, thank you. The next book is called Heart Talk.
All right. So this is by a poet named Cleo Wade. I don't remember how I came across this book, but it's a very kind of small square book. And it has vibes of, I don't know, do you remember Stark?
Oh, yes, with
Or
the
is it Sark?
illustrations.
Yeah, Sark.
Yes. Oh, you just brought back the 90s for me.
It has that like where the text is kind of handwritten. There's some
Yeah.
typeface, but there's a lot of handwritten text and like little doodles. It's got a lot of those vibes of just like, I don't know what to say, free spirit. I felt like it's a very good tome for like self-love and self-care and
Mm.
personal advocacy, but in a really gentle, whimsical way. Sometimes it's like poems, sometimes it's like a little essay, but her way of expressing herself and speaking to the reader is so kind and nurturing. It's like
Mm.
Mr. Rogers vibes for adults.
Aw.
So it's a very inviting and easy and soothing book to read. So I have to pull it out now that I'm talking about it. But for a while, that was my like book I would read in the mornings and just kind of reflect on a poem or a little piece, because it's lots of wise words, but very heartful also.
Well, you had me at small and square. Just describing the shape of it. It's like, I want this book. You didn't even have to say anything else. It's a small square book. I love that. Your last book is The Little Prince.
All right. So The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry.
Oh, look at your French. Frenching. Beautiful.
So I read this in high school, I think my senior year of high school. It's a novella. It's very short. It's a very sweet story about a little prince who visits all these different planets and learns these lessons. It's like a profound book about different truths about humans and the difference between children and adults and things that we lose as we get older. And it really kind of, I don't know, is about wonder and awe, but also friendship and loneliness. There's a lot of really powerful themes in it with beautiful illustrations. And I remember it having a really big impact on me in high school. And then a few years later, I studied abroad in Paris, as I've talked about. And this was before France was on the euro, so they had francs. And the money had the Little Prince on it, which I was just like, oh my gosh, this country is so cool. I mean, the book is a national treasure. It's like a book that you can read at a very young age or at a very old age, and it works on all of the different levels every time.
And remember when we went to France, Malika, and they had just Little Prince stationery and stickers. I remember buying a Little Prince photo album that I have our photos from France in. It's kind of everywhere.
Yes. There's a lot of Little Prince merchandising, like Hello Kitty kind of.
Yeah.
But it's very sweet.
Very sweet. Beautiful. Okay. Well, tell us what book is on your list. Do you have a book that has been essential in your life that you return to over and over again? We'd love to know and share it. Let's take a break. And when we get back, we'll do peaks and valleys.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Okay, we're back with peaks and valleys because in life there are always peaks and valleys. This is an even episode, so Malika is up with a peak.
My peak is about being in LA and getting to see family and friends that I haven't seen since last year. It is always a lot of work to get here, to plan it and fly across the country and all of that. But there's nothing like seeing the people that you love and getting to just have some time to hang out. And I'll give a big peek to my friends, Caitlin and Arthur, who hosted a gathering for Norm and Indigo and I, especially for my grad school friends, which we did at your house last year. And it was too much. We kind of got kicked out.
It wasn't too much. It's just I had to go to work the next day. It was already like 11.
So it was very generous of our friends to host us. And they had a amazing Thanksgiving fall inspired spread, and there was room for the kids to run around, and it was just a really, really sweet time of connection and fellowship. So I am grateful for that.
Happy for you.
Azizi, what's your valley?
So as I mentioned at the top of this episode, that my house is a small kind of regular house, and so to fit everybody, we were going to need an air mattress because no one wants to sleep on the couch, it turned out. And I thought I had time, but of course you run out of time. And my older daughter, Ilea, made a mistake with her flight, and it turned out she was coming home a day earlier than we had initially expected. So the day that I thought I was going to be able to sort out where she was going to sleep, I did not have that day. So good news, bad news was
one day.
Yeah, one day was gone. She's like, oh, oops, actually, I'm coming tomorrow, not the day after tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So I was able to Instacart an air mattress. Thank goodness for Instacart. So I was excited about that. Made the order. It came in like, I don't know, an hour and a half. We inflated it. It's kind of late at night. I think, Malika, you actually were asleep while all of this was happening. I don't know.
Yes.
And Sinai put it in her room because we decided that, okay, they were going to both sleep in Sinai's rooms because we know the baby's up early. That way they can sleep and no one's disturbed by sleeping on the couch in the living room. But when Sinai inflated the air mattress and put it in her bedroom, it was so big that you couldn't open the door. We're like, oh no, what are we going to do? Isaiah's coming in a few hours and we don't have a place for her to sleep. So thank goodness for Instacart. I was able to quickly Instacart another air mattress,
Oh my
a twin
goodness.
size, the right size. It came, we set it up. It was fantastic. It fit. And so now I am the owner of a twin size and like a full size air mattress because it turns out you can't return them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on the box. It says like cannot be returned if inflated or used.
Interesting. Well,
I
makes
understand.
sense.
And maybe I'll try to get store credit, but maybe I need to have 2 air mattresses now. At any rate, that was the valley. If I had paid attention to measuring
Yeah.
dimensions, that's the part of me. I'm like blind to dimensions, which irritates my husband to no end because these kinds of things always happen.
Right.
But anyway, that was my valley. Good
A
news
peek
is
for
everyone has a place
Instacart.
to sleep. Peak for Instacart. Absolutely. They delivered 2 air mattresses in one night to my home, and that was convenient. And it all got sorted out in the end, but I did not need to.
Wow. All right. Well, that brings us to the end. Azizi, let's leave on a happier thought. What are you going to try this week?
Malika, I want to read and reread all of your books. This week.
Okay. All this week.
At least I'm
Good.
going to write them down and put them on a list. I can do that this
Good.
week. Malika, what about you?
I feel that way too. I want to write them down. Yes, maybe I'll add them all to Libby, all of your books.
Nice.
Thank you for listening to this episode. You can find our show notes in the episode description. If you like us, please rate, review, and tell a friend. And don't forget to follow us.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
You can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com. All right, Malika, have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Azizi. Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, Azizi will talk about, do we do this? What do we do when we come back? I don't know.
We're going
We'll
to
just
share
wait.
reading recommendations.
Okay.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.